Hi, welcome to the Mammoth Tech Show. I'm Jeff.
I'm Frankie.
Now, in previous videos about parkrun, you may have got the impression that we like our exercise, and that's true. But what if you want to exercise but can't leave the house? Well, being the Mammoth Tech Show, let's think about this from a tech standpoint. Now, popular at the moment is on the Nintendo Switch Ring Fit Adventure, which looks very interesting. Usual sort of Nintendo-y odd controller sort of thing, and it's been rather popular, very popular indeed.
It's what I want. Yeah.
Yes. Frankie fancies it, but it's really quite difficult to get hold of. But there have been games around exercise in the past. This is not a new genre, especially for Nintendo. So let's crank up the time machine and go back a bit, and let's think about the tech that involved exercising and got us exercising with our games consoles from the past. And probably the one we'll think of that springs most readily to mind is
Wii Fit.
Wii Fit indeed. The whole Wii Fit and the whole balance board apparently came about when they saw sumo wrestlers having to use two separate scales, two separate weighing machines to weigh themselves because one couldn't cope. And the whole thing about the scales not just measuring the weight, but how much pressure is being placed on each foot, and forwards and backwards, left and right, so you could literally track your centre of balance, came about.
Yes.
Because when you used the balance board for the first time, it was really quite a spooky experience. I remember playing the goalie type game, or where you had to lean from left to right to catch things.
Yes.
And when you don't really twig how it's working, it was really quite spooky how, I'm leaning left and it's tracking my character exactly as I'm leaning, or I'm trading backwards and forwards. And it's really just tracking your centre of balance.
Well,
and mapping that on.
That is precisely it, because one of the first things, let's roll back to when you first set Wii Fit up. So you have to put in the usual statistics of your height and but it weighs you, so you don't have to worry about that, as we've just discussed. But one of the other things that it does is it gives you a balance test.
Yeah.
And it will actually tell you where your centre of gravity is. So it will tell you whether it's too far forwards, too far back, too much to the left, too much to the right. And then it will use that information to tailor exercises to you to make sure and try and balance you up, which for us as runners is actually, how else can we get that kind of information as to lopsided to the left, lopsided to the right? And like you say, it's really spooky.
As a couple of the main drivers for Wii Fit, there was the getting your balance straight, getting your posture right, and you're standing so you're not slouched back on your heels or whatever. But also the whole thing about BMI, which you may remember at the time, it got a bit of probably unwarranted flack about the fact that it gave you your body mass index, and people were saying body mass index isn't a good indicator of whether you're fit, because it could be muscle, rather than fat. It's just
taking your height information and your weight. And it's saying it just has a blank, on average, and it just has a blanket. The ideal BMI is 22. You're therefore based on your information, but it's all just an indication, and it just tracks it so that you can keep an eye on what's going on.
But
it's up to you
yeah,
what you do with the information.
it did make it clear that it was just a guide.
Yeah.
But did it work as a product though? Did it work to encourage you to exercise and track your weight and be more aware of your weight and how you held yourself?
Yes, I think so. Because for me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the motivation to really do a lot of exercise on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So I lack the, I'm not ashamed to say, I completely lack the motivation to get up and go out and run a 10k run on my own. I couldn't do it. I don't want to be out on my own. I don't like being out on my own. And most of the time, really, I'm quite lazy. If I can have an option of sitting on the sofa, I will. So to be able to just come in to my living room, switch on my games console, which is just there by the TV anyway, I don't have to change into anything in particular, special gym clothes or anything like that. And to be able to have a coach in my TV that will guide me through the exercises. And also the other thing with the balance board as well is that when you're doing exercises like, and we'll come on to what exercises you can do on it, but it's got your standard exercises. So you can do things like lunges on there and things like that. But because it can track how much pressure you're putting down and where your foot is on the balance board, it can tell you whether you're getting your technique right.
Yeah.
So you can do exercises like lunges and be safe in the knowledge that you're not going to wreck your joints, because it will tell you, oh no, you're not got enough pressure, or you've got too much pressure, you're leaning too far forwards, too much to the left or the right. So for me, I think it was one of the things that really got me starting to think I need to start keeping fit. And actually, it's doable to do it in my living room.
Yeah.
It's not having to put a DVD in. And once I've finished it, I can just put one of my other games on and sit on the sofa and play some games.
Yeah, and it had a good variety. It had the, like you say, like the balance exercises. There was some yoga. There was more sort of cardio stuff with the running, where you just, rather than having a balance board, you just hold the remote and run on the spot and do laps of Woohoo Island, as it was called. If you didn't realise that, the island in Wii Fit was called Woohoo Island.
Yes.
A little bit of trivia there. And there were some other little extra little fun games as well, little games of skill and that sort of thing.
Yes.
So Wii Fit was very popular indeed. We have the original, that's what the original looked like there, with the rather iconic silhouette graphics and the logo. I remember, do you know, Halfords did a little spin on it. They had, outside their shop, Wii Fit.
They still do.
They still do. It's in that
but
font.
With WE.
Wii Fit, because they've got Wii Fit wiper blades or Wii Fit whatever,
and
that to your car. But it was so much a reference to that.
And the other iconic thing from this logo that you'll always synonymise with Wii Fit is the lime green and white colour scheme.
But then there was Wii Fit Plus.
Which is that one?
Which was the same sort of game, but with just more games, extra things to do.
It brought out a couple of more advanced things of some of the things on here. So I think like you had Step, and then it's got like Step Plus, which came in with Wii Fit Plus, which is just a very similar thing.
And there was also a few extra games, like there's like Segway racing. And stuff like that, using the balance board. With the success of Wii Fit came a lot of cashing in, obviously, as with the Wii Sports, with all the accessories you could get for Wii Sports, little plastic add-ons and stuff like that. Tennis rackets and all that sort of nonsense.
A
lot of nonsense. Stuff came out for Wii Fit as well. Actually, some of it was quite useful.
Yep, so one of the things that we got was the official We Fit exercise mat,
Yes.
which is very long, but it's designed to obviously have the balance board
Yeah.
on it at one end.
Okay, so that's a bit of fairly normal gym equipment. What more unusual things were there?
Okay, so one of my favourite, more unusual bits of gym equipment that came out for it were these. And that leads me into what I mentioned earlier about the iconic colourings of
they definitely went
lime
with
green and white.
Yeah,
There's no mistaking that this was marketed for.
But what are they?
They're dumbbells.
Aha.
But they're dumbbells that are designed to hold the nunchuck and the Wiimote. So
Okay.
a lot of the exercises for the Wii obviously use the nunchuck and the Wiimote for tracking.
Yeah.
And
so add a bit of weight.
This was so that you could take your fitness up a notch, add a bit of weight, because obviously you can't hold weights and your nunchuck and your Wiimote. It was all, so you held them in here, nice and grippy.
Yeah.
Really nice to hold.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Obviously, you might have slight difficulties getting hold of something quite so unusual and niche as this nowadays. So you can just use your nunchucks and remote and just have like ankle or wrist weights.
Yes.
Which would do exactly the same things. But these are a fun little novelty.
Yes.
And sort of, you don't have to fiddle with strapping things onto your wrists either.
Yeah.
So they're fun.
Yeah, I
Anything
like those.
else?
And the other bit of peripherals that I have, which was a fun thing to have, because one of my favourite exercises to do in Wii Fit is step aerobics.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice and simple. You can put some ankle weights on, give yourself a bit of resistance. But if you're feeling a little lazy but just want to have some basic exercise, it's an easy thing to do. You can just step on, step off, step on, step off. However, a lot of people like to use a block.
Yeah.
But obviously the balance board on Wii Fit, you're supposed to use the balance board so it can tell when you're stepping on
and that's
off.
not very far off the ground, only about that.
Yeah, so it's not very far off the ground. So what we discovered was this little doohickey here.
Yeah.
Which, as you can see, is a riser block for the balance board.
Fitness First branded.
Fitness First branded, yeah. So it's got 4 little locators in the top, which is for the feet of the balance board, which are here in the corners. And this basically turns your balance board into a step-up block. I mean, admittedly, it's not overly high, but it depends on which of the step exercises you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're doing the free step for half an hour, then you're certainly going to feel it after it's, it's high enough for that.
There are a few designs of that around, I remember. There were like little, basically amounted to plastic cups that sat on the corners. But I always thought they had the potential of just falling over. If you caught your foot stepping up and jogged it, it would have the potential of just knocking over and so the whole thing collapsing to one side. So this thing looks quite a bit sturdier in the net. That's not going to fall over.
I think we might have some footage running in the background of the step. But one of the moves in it is you step off to the side and you step onto the side, which is where I would worry that something like those cups would, wobble slightly and cause you injury. But this is, it's stable. You put the weight on the balance board on there and it's not going anywhere. And this as well in the past has had a lot of use, and it also stacks up and it comes to pieces and stacks up to a nice compact size if you don't want to keep it assembled.
Yeah, that centre bit comes off. Yeah, and
like that, and then that then stacks. Stacks in like that.
Yeah. Okay. Unsurprisingly, other companies saw this as a good opportunity to make a bit of money, and they produced their own. There was Your Shape, and that was one of the first games to use a little camera. It came bundled with a camera rather than a great big weighing scales, and that would sit above your TV, rather like a PlayStation Eye or something similar.
Yeah.
But you would stand in front of it, face on, and then side on, and it would combine the two images to make a three-dimensional estimate of your shape, hence the title. And the idea was that it would track your shape as you slim down doing all the exercises. And that was their one. Then EA came along with EA Active.
Yes. So I would say that EA Active was aiming themselves at a slightly more serious fitness market rather than the more casual. It tracked you by, you had like a strap that you attached to your leg, and you had...
It had its own unique sensors and stuff, didn't it,
Yeah.
for tracking? Because previous to that, they'd all used the nunchuk and the Wii remote, to the sensors built into that. That came with the console, so why not? But
yeah. And so when you were running, it could tell when your leg was moving and things like that. So it would do proper sprints and things like that. And there was EA Active 2, which just again built onto EA Active. And I really enjoyed the slightly more serious aspect of those as well.
I think EA were also thinking about having the franchise across multiple platforms, so having their own controllers rather than relying on the Nintendo controllers meant they could release the game for PlayStation and Xbox and widen their potential market, which is understandable.
Yes.
But it didn't all just end with exercise. There was another bit of exercise or activity related games that sprung out sort of around a certain Lady Gaga song.
Yes. So you had the Just Dance franchise.
Yes, that started initially on the Wii.
On the Wii.
And was incredibly popular. And ironically didn't actually include the song Just Dance until about 3 or 4 iterations into the franchise. Even though it was called Just Dance, it didn't actually... It had lots of licensed songs, but didn't include Just Dance. And that has been going on for probably about 10 years. I should probably have researched this beforehand.
And weren't you saying though that they're still making it for the Wii?
Yes, I think it's still certainly 2019 was on the Wii. I'm not sure, but whether 2020 is also on the Wii. It might still be the last game on the Wii still in production.
Yeah.
Because it went out of the Wii went out of production 8 years ago, and technically still having games produced for it. So yeah, that's been rather a popular thing for Ubisoft.
Yes.
And of course, again, other companies turned their own versions of these games. Has been Zumba variations of that, and all sorts of other dance ones. Again, usual sorts of things. They used the remote to track your movement.
Yes.
And that sort of thing. I suppose the dance ones could be tracked further back with old Dance Revolution and Dance Mat.
Yes.
But they did fall rather out of favour, kind of like the guitar games, the man's games, did very popular for a while and fell out of favour, but came back again on the back of motion controls and active games.
Yes.
So we'll have a look at some of the games that came along sort of a bit after that, because of course after the Wii there was the Wii U.
Yes.
and there was a version of Wii Fit for the Wii U, unsurprisingly titled Wii Fit U.
Yes.
And that is basically like a mashup of Wii Fit and Wii Fit Plus.
Yes.
Again, uses the balance board, but if you were had the Wii Fit board from the Wii, you could actually just download the game, save a bit of money,
Yes.
and just use the balance board from that instead.
Yes.
You didn't actually have to go out and buy a new balance board, which was a nice little bonus.
And with Wii Fit U, that then brought in some new little features, didn't it? So with Wii Fit U, they introduced the Fit meters, which were these little round, I suppose, digital meters. They looked very much like pedometers. I mean, they looked very much like the Pokewalker that you used to get.
I think that's because they were basically they were the Pokewalkers from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, basically,
and
repurposed.
They were very clever. It tracked your number of steps that you did, but it also tracked your elevation.
Oh yeah.
And it would tell you how many flights of stairs you'd climbed,
or how far
you'd walked.
Yeah.
And as part of Wii Fit U, you could then take part in the Fit Meter challenges,
because you could sync the information
from the Fit Meter to the Wii Fit U.
Yeah, using a little infrared
doohickey.
Yeah.
And then you could do challenges like today or this week. I'm going to choose. So you got to choose your challenges. They have ones like climbing Everest, walking the Great Wall of China, the usual challenges, the walking challenge distances, and it would track you. You know, it would have your little person once you
you'd have a little
it,
map
running along the map to whichever bit of landmark you'd got along your route. I mean, it used to be really, really good. I used to really enjoy that.
This may not sound like particularly revolutionary, but of course that is because we're all used to watches like this tracking our movements, Fitbit and all that sort of stuff.
We didn't have this eight or so years ago.
But that back then, these watches and fitness trackers weren't even a thing.
No.
And this was before those came along, and so it was something quite new.
Yeah, and the other I suppose revolutionary thing that Wii Fit U brought out was the gym communities.
Yes.
So you could make your own gym, and then you could have your friends join that gym online.
Yeah.
So they could have their own version of the game, but you know they're joined into like your private little group, and then with the Fit Meter challenges, you could go against each other and see each other's progress and see where they were on the map and things like that. Or else they have big online gym communities as well.
Yeah.
But again, you didn't have things like Strava and stuff back then.
Like
so it was quite revolutionary to be able to meet up with your mate online that was, you know, miles away and see how many steps they've done that day and give yourself a bit of a challenge. And also you got little rewards along the way depending on when you completed some of the challenges. So I remember, I think I completed the London challenge and my character's got one of those
a Busby.
A Busby, that's the one.
Yeah. Yes, if you completed like walking around London, you'd get a
something
Busby.
iconic.
Something like a hat or something like that, for your Mii character to wear in the game, which is a nice little fun thing. And it is a shame that the fact that the Wii U wasn't as popular meant that the online community aspect, which, I mean, if you did that again on the Switch, you know, massively, wildly more popular, would be huge, and people would be massive, you know, Switch Fit or whatever they would call it, online communities, gyms and stuff like that. But you know, back then, it wasn't so much of a thing. It was, completely new, really, and there was just not so many people with Wii U. So that sort of, it had a lot of potential, but
Yeah.
just it wasn't able to fulfill it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a. It's not a complete package. Wii Fit U. It's not all of the games
No,
and
it's kind
stuff
of an up.
from.
It was kind of an upgrade to if you have
Yeah,
the original Wii Fit and
yeah.
Wii
Some
Fit
of some of the
Plus.
things in Wii Fit Plus aren't in Wii Fit. You like the Segway racing and stuff that isn't in.
Yeah.
It does have some new stuff. There's some obstacle challenge where your little me characters is going along a conveyor belt or dodging obstacles and stuff like
Yes.
that. There's some really quite clever
Yeah.
things in there.
And I've just
Yeah.
remembered,
Oh, yeah.
one of the other selling points of Wii Fit U.
What was that?
It was one of its USPs, was your pet could have their own profile
Oh,
and you
yeah.
could weigh your pet.
Weigh your pet. Yeah, if you had a chubby cat or a slightly lolly dog, then yes, you could
And
track
that-
it.
yeah.
It didn't really give you any way of
Exercises.
exercising.
But you could
Yeah.
give it its own profile and track its
Yeah,
weight.
you could
And it worked it out, I
watch as
think,
it's
by...
spelled.
Yeah, I think it worked it by you got on
Hmm.
without the pet,
Yes.
and then you got on with the pet,
Yeah.
and then it worked out the difference in the weight.
Yeah. Which
It
is,
works
which
for
is generally how you weigh a pet anyway.
Yeah, and it works with a dog that will stay still. I think we
Yeah.
tried it. I think we tried it with the cat at one point, and it just
Yeah.
wiggled like anything, and it didn't actually work.
Cats and dogs don't tend to
No.
balance on weighing machines very well on
No.
their own. Even the big ones they have at vets. They
Yeah.
aren't great there. So yeah, Wii Fit U
I've got a couple
came
of
along,
other-
and of course there was more Wii Fit or games for the Wii U.
Yes. So one of my favourite ones for the Wii U was another Your Shape one, and it was
Yes.
Your Shape Fitness Evolved. What I really, really liked about this game was the fact that it's a bit more realistic. You had a real person in front of you on the screen,
Yes.
rather than
We're into days of HD by now.
rather than a I suppose an animated character is what I'm trying to say. But you also got to at the beginning of the game, it asked you what equipment you had at home.
Oh yeah.
So did you have dumbbells? Did you have a gym ball? Did you have a step-up block? And you could put a tick next to each of the ones that you had. And then it would incorporate those bits into the exercises that it gave you.
Yeah.
So you find that... So again, this is it was a bit more of a serious exercise game.
Yeah.
It would use the weights in the gym. It would use your proper fitness equipment. It wasn't just using the balance board and tracking your move. It worked really well.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that one. It was one of my favourites.
Although by this time the camera that had given the franchise its name had gone.
Yeah.
There was no tracking your shape anymore.
Yeah.
But
I might actually
yeah.
have another go at that one at
Yeah.
some point.
And the dancey games
Also,
continued
yes.
on, didn't they?
Yeah, and I got the next iteration of Zumba Fitness.
Because by this time Zumba had
Properly
actually
taken
had
off
proper,
over
because
this
when it
country, wasn't
first came, the first time the Zumba games came out, Zumba wasn't quite as popular.
No.
It's gone off. It isn't, as these things always wax and wane. But by this point, Zumba was huge at this point.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I mean, I'd actually done a few Zumba classes by this
Yes,
point,
I
so
remember,
this
yeah.
had actually all started to make a bit more sense, and I was
some
really
of
enjoying it.
Like the music you'd
Yes,
hear in your
its
Zumba class
was on here. So this was a really, really good game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the dancey games are quite good because you can get a bit of a workout without really thinking you're having a bit of a workout. And if you've got some friends around who
They're good party games.
they're
as
good
well.
party games,
Yeah.
and you can. Some of them do have workout modes, so that
Yeah.
if you want to have a proper workout, you can.
Yeah.
Or else you can just do it for a bit of fun after you've done your proper workout, or dance out a couple of tunes as a bit of a cool down or something. You know, it's use it how you wish. But I like to kind of mix them. Back in the day, I used to like to mix and match my fitness stuff.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as we've been going through these fitness games, they aren't new. It didn't just start with the Ring Fit Adventure.
No.
And that's basically the moral of this. If you want to have a bit of exercise indoors and can't get your hands on Ring Fit Adventure, maybe dust off that Wii that's up in the loft or stuck in a cupboard and see if you can dig out a copy of Wii Fit or Your Shape, or see if you can find a balance board and see if you can get a bit of exercise in your living room.
Yes.
On a console that may just cost you 20 quid from is the second-hand place. And if you look around, certainly a few months ago, if you went into a second-hand shop, you could see copies of Wii Fit for like 50p.
Yes.
On the bar. I do believe they are starting to go up in value at the moment.
Yes.
For certain reasons.
Yes.
But whether you can get hold of a balance board,
you don't see those around very often.
Yes, there was a period of time where you could just pick up balance boards just incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
But they're probably creeping up in price too now. But you don't necessarily need the balance board for Wii Fit. There are quite a lot of things in Wii Fit you can just do with the
nunchuck. So if you just wanted to do some indoor running, then you wouldn't need the balance board. You just need a Wiimote, and that's at the moment is how I'm getting my running exercising in. So I'm doing running on Wii Fit around Woohoo Island, and I guess you could say that Woohoo Island was a predecessor of things that you have now, like Zwift, where you're running around, you're running around, and you've actually got terrain that you're running around.
It was a shame that they never went sort of the massively multiplayer with the whole thing, that you couldn't sort of see your friends actually out and running, and you could see your Mii's out and running, so representation, but it wasn't. It was just a NPC using that Mii. It would have been really cool for Wii Fit U to have been a massively multiplayer thing, where you could have just used have a race with your friends. Everyone's in there. In their front room, just jogging up and down.
It was probably a bit beyond its limitations at the time.
Yeah, it was possibly asking a bit much. But maybe that's something they can look into for something else. An update for Ring Fit, because it is getting updates. Ring Fit Adventure is getting updates and new modes added to it.
I am keeping an eye out for it.
So it isn't staying still. That could eventually make its way into Ring Fit Adventure.
Yes.
It isn't all about Ring Fit Adventure. You can dig out a Wii or a Wii U, also an excellent option, and get a bit of exercise in and try and beat those scalpers, because don't pay over the odds for a second-hand Wii or a second-hand copy of Wii Fit. I've literally seen copies of Wii Fit for 50p and Wii's for £20. So if you see them for huge marks up because of situations, then know the prices of things and don't get caught out. But there are options, and quite reasonably priced options, to get your exercise done in a fun and gamery sort of way.
Yes.
That won't cost the earth. So that's been our talk about exercising and exercising in a tech way in the house.
Yes.
And if you've enjoyed it, why not give this video a like? And if you'd like to see more from us, subscribe. If you've got any comments about your experiences with these sort of games, what you'd like to see in future games, not that we could have any influence about what sort of things come out, but it's fun to speculate about what you like. Would you have liked a massively multiplayer version of Woohoo Island where everyone was teaming around and having fun?
Yeah.
That'd have been fun. Yeah, put those in the comments. And in the meantime, I've been Jeff.
I've been Frankie.
This has been the Mammoth Tech Show, and you've been very kind to watch. Thank you very much. Hi, welcome to the Mammoth Tech Show. I'm Jeff.
I'm Frankie.
Now, I haven't got an intro. After all of that, I haven't got an intro. Sorry. Sorry.
You've now got 10 minutes to think of one.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, welcome to the Mammoth Tech Show. I'm Jeff.
I'm Frankie.
Oh, I did that. My watch surprised me. It went beep, and you said, "What are you doing?" I got confused.
Right.
I got confused.
That's such a huge pause. I'm Jeff, and then you just launched into whatever you were going to say.
I didn't have enough. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Eventually we might start this video.